Every successful career has a few defining moments, those unexpected pivots or setbacks or opportunities that end up shaping who we become. Today's guest knows a thing or two about turning those moments into momentum. As partner experiential manager at Dell Technologies, Austin Collins has built a career grounded in connection, creativity, and impact. We'll explore the experiences that have shaped her journey and the strengths that have fueled her success and the advice she'd share with women stepping confidently into what's next. Hi, Austin. Thank you so much
Hey,
for joining me
Jackie.
today.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Yes, and I'm so excited to get to know you. So, before we dive into your professional journey, let's start with a little bit about Austin behind the title. So, outside of work, what's something you genuinely enjoy spending your time on?
There's a few things. About 7 years ago, I've got actually a bird dog sitting right here next to me. So 7 years ago, I fell in love with the outdoors and bird hunting. And so a big part of what I do outside of work is with my Labrador Birdie. I train her and we get out in the field and we really get out to explore the outdoors. So I love that. Then about a year ago, I did get into Mahjong. So Mahjong is all the rage. And I actually started a passion project called the Mahjong Weekend. And it's really focused around building a community of women around trips and shared experiences and building that community while sharing the love of Mahjong at the table. So those are kind of two big things that when I'm not working, I'm either out in the field or I'm shuffling tiles.
Yeah, that was really cool. Actually, when you first told me about that, I didn't know what it was and I had to Google it. And I'm like, I just never knew what it was called, but I
Yeah,
definitely recognize the tiles. That's pretty
it's very
awesome.
popular now. Yes.
All right. Are you someone that's big picture thinking or details and execution?
Execution is definitely where I thrive. I love taking an idea and just really bringing it to life, elevating it and producing just like this high quality product. But over the years and into my leadership, I've really intentionally just challenged myself to spend more time in that strategic big picture thinking because the best leaders, the great leaders really need both of those perspectives. So I probably lean a little more on the execution, but you got to balance both.
Yeah, I love that you know your strengths and you know that you have to dip your toes in the other areas
Yes.
to grow. So that's awesome. All right. Well, let's dive into your professional journey. So my question for you is which inflection point, whether that be a pivot, a setback, or perhaps an opportunity, changed your trajectory? And what did you learn from that?
It's hard to pick one because as you mentioned, like my path at Dell over the last 15 years has been a series of pivots. It's been more of that, what you've heard, that jungle gym approach.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was when I chose to leave a sales path, I had been striving to be an account executive for so long, and I left that to move into product marketing, or I left a leadership role that I had so longed, worked so hard to become a leader at Dell, and I'd left that to pursue what was a chief of staff opportunity that I so badly also wanted, only then to become finding out, just a few months later that that role is getting changed. Or most recently, the last year, I was told that my position was going away because of organizational changes. Every one of those pivots or those moments at the time felt, either disappointing or I was anxious, but each one really created opportunity, right? And if I think about, when you're in the moment, sometimes those pivots don't make sense. But ultimately they end up allowing you to grow and you become in a better situation for it is what I realized. That last example, because it's most recent, I got a call from my leader and he basically told me that role was being dissolved. And I was devastated because for the last 3 years, I had been put into roles or taken on roles that I really just didn't necessarily sign up for. And this role I had actively pursued. I was excited about it. I felt like I had a huge level of impact of all the things I had done in the last, 14 years at Dell, I could apply to this role. So when I got that call, I really felt like, wow, I've lost, control again. But what I didn't see at the time is that change would truly put me in this role in the now. And it's one of the best roles and best fits I've had in my career. And I'm absolutely having fun and I love it. So Each pivot sometimes doesn't make sense in the moment, but every time it creates an opportunity for the better.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I guess that goes with that saying, hindsight is 2020. But when you're in the
Yeah.
moment, yes, there's definite disappointment. But I can agree with you. Like I've been in those same positions, and
Hmm.
honestly, if I didn't make some of the decisions that I made, I wouldn't even be in the position I'm at today because this wasn't a role that I interviewed for or existed at the
Hmm.
time. So, yeah, the most amazing things happen when you say yes and accept the challenge and change and see what you can do next with it. So, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. Yeah. All right. What is a unique perspective or strength that you bring to the table that has fueled your success?
What I've realized is my strength is I like to say I'm a builder. I love taking something that's got potential and making it truly exceptional. Whether it's a program at Dell I've worked on, an experience, an event, right? It's truly how do I elevate what's the possible? And so when you think about building usually means you have to kind of what you were saying is you have to step into a territory where you don't really have all the answers. You've got to be curious. And I've always been comfortable with not being the smartest person in the room, but I'm always the first that's going to ask the, dumb question in the room and raise my hand and be willing to say, I don't know, or learn from others, or, truly step into situations where I just don't have all those answers. So, the willingness I think is really a key part to, how I become a builder is willingness to not know what you don't know, but then also the willingness to go build something great, right? And create better outcomes. I'm working on a program right now called the Rising Stars, and it's all about, I got it last year and I realized opportunity for us to really elevate that more and work in marketing elements, or whether it was, hey, I want to go do this Mahjong weekend and I want to go create something amazing for these women. It's really around the energy of taking an idea, bringing it to life. And that's really what really energizes me most and has been just a common thread through my success in my career.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love the term that you put on this as a willingness. I know you and I have talked about this before. And when you said it to me, I was like, wow, that's so simple. But you don't hear that word a lot.
Mm-mm.
You hear confidence, which I think when we talked before, it was more like, but how? But
Mm-hmm.
using that word willingness, it gives you some direction and more understanding than just have confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm very excited about is that you're going to be talking about this on stage at Women of the Channel East. So
Yes.
I can't wait to hear more about that.
Yeah,
All right. Go ahead.
I'll
Sorry.
just add to that. It really is. It's been a kind of that aha moment, and I'm so excited
Mhm.
to share it with the women that will be there. But I always thought, well, I'm just confident. And what I've realized is, yes, the confidence is what came. It's that willingness that really has been the motivation on the driver. So more to come there. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting way to think about it differently.
Yeah, it's truly going to be a great session. All right, what does success look for like for you in this season of your life?
Very different from 15 years ago when I first started at Dell. I was a sales rep and we had these levels, ISR 2, ISR 3. And so back then it was all about, I wanted to get to the field so fast and I just wanted to get to be promoted. I was looking for what's next and the next promotion. Every 18 months, I was ready for it. And now there was a moment in my career where I definitely paused and was like, I'm more comfortable. But even more
Mm,
today, I still care about growth and ambition. It's equally as important, but it's more about meaningful work. Like, what am I creating? How am I leaving my brand and my legacy here at Dell? The impact that I'm driving to our customers and our partner organization. Am I building a community both at my career and outside in my personal life? Am I continuing to learn? And am I really doing work that makes me happy and energizes me? So it's different. You still want to grow and be ambitious, but it's not about always just like what's next. And the role I'm in today, I'm having so much fun and I don't really want to think about what's next because I'm really enjoying it right now.
yeah, you can see that. That totally comes across this whole conversation. And it really does circle back to our earlier part of this conversation when you talked about being a builder.
Mm-hmm.
So that is definitely an answer I would have guessed out of somebody that has that mentality.
Yeah,
All right, Austin, I told you this time was going to go by really fast, but
it
I
does.
want you to give one piece of advice that you'd either give your younger self or perhaps a woman listening today who's stepping into her next chapter.
I think it definitely plays off the willingness and the confidence piece that we've talked about, because
Mm-hmm.
throughout all my career, I've taken those, pivots, those transitions where I did not feel completely ready. And so I think many a times us as women, we look at the opportunities and we're not quite sure, are we fully prepared? So my advice would be, don't wait until you feel fully confident to take that next step, whether that's, the opportunity that's going to stretch you, whether that's, taking a lateral move that you're not quite sure is on the right path for you, whatever that might be. Confidence is the result of an action. It's not the prerequisite, right? So be willing to ask questions, take those opportunities, and really start before you feel like you've really had everything figured out, because I think that's been a key to just my success and what I've learned over the years at Dell.
And that is great advice. And we can't wait to hear more about it. Austin, thank you so much for allowing us
Thanks,
to
Jackie.
celebrate you as our Woman of the Week. And to our community, thank you for tuning in. And definitely comment below and share your insights. Let's continue the conversation. So until next time, have an amazing week.